Welcome back. We're talking to Nicole Weir with Life Center Northwest about organ and tissue donation. And Nicole, we talked a little bit last segment about some of the myths that are around organ donation and what people hear about things. Here's another one for you. Some people are worried that if they give the okay for their loved one to be an organ donation, the medical team isn't going to work as hard to save them so that they can be a donor for somebody who needs those organs. Can you speak to that a little bit? Is there any truth in that?
There is no truth to that, but I do agree. I think that's definitely a perception that is out there. I can tell you that the medical team has one thing on their mind. I think all providers and nursing staff have one thing on their mind, and that is to save your life and to do everything that they can to care for you as their patient. Donation is only an option when all other medical treatments have failed. So when a patient is legally declared dead is when donation can be an option. So I think everyone can feel confident in their local community hospitals and the places that they go to seek treatment that donation is never going to precede healthcare.
Good. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about if someone is in that moment and they have advanced directives in place, especially a do not resuscitate, how does that play into the whole organ donation process?
Yeah, so a DNR, do not resuscitate, or an advanced directive can still stand and take place alongside organ donation. They can mutually work together. They are both mutually respected. In fact, making the decision to become an organ donor by registering as a donor, that's really no different than an advanced directive. So it's essentially the same thing. It's making your wishes known. It is legally binding. Being registered as a donor is legal binding first person authorization. Okay. So again, they're mutually respected and can go hand in hand through the opportunity.
Can you talk a little bit about what organs we're talking about here? Which organs can be donated after death?
So solid organs that can be donated would be the heart, the lungs, liver, kidneys, pancreas, and small intestine. And then alongside that, tissue can also be donated, and some examples for tissue donation would be bone, skin, heart for valves, nerves, veins, tendons, and ligaments.
So a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And we talked a little bit too about that first person authorization. So let's say that I am a donor, I've agreed to be a donor. What will happen with my family then as far as that process? Is that a medical expense that they need to cover that I've donated my organs or my tissue?
So families will incur no costs associated with donation. Now keep in mind that the medical treatment and care that happened prior to donation becoming an opportunity does still stay as the responsibility of the family. However, all costs associated with the donation process and the recovery process are the responsibility of the local organ procurement organization. So Life Center Northwest, for example, here in Montana.
Okay. Let's talk about one more myth here. Another one that people may have heard about is the whole idea of people selling organs on the black market. Is that a thing?
It is not, and unfortunately movies and drama have done us no favors in some of that. No, it is a federal offense to sell or transplant organs over the black market. It needs to be facilitated by a medical team, and really it's a very complex procedure. It's a complex algorithm of how we even get there. But no, it is a federal offense to do that.
Okay. And so let's talk a little bit too, going back to the idea of the family and what they have to do in this sort of situation. Obviously, death is hard. Losing someone that you love is hard on the family. Does knowing that their loved one is contributing to the health or saving other people help with that whole hurt and loss that happens with them?
Absolutely. Death is hard. Nothing's going to change that. And really, it doesn't matter the age of the person who's passed away, whether it's an extended illness or trauma, tragedy. Death is hard, and there is no time, frame for grief. But I think what we see and what I have seen firsthand is the comfort that donation can bring, knowing that there's a living legacy, that their loved one didn't die in any type of vein, that there's something left behind, there's a story to keep telling. And aside from that, we as an organization bring a team of family support individuals into a donation opportunity that can be there to support the family through their grief so that they're getting special attention, they're getting memory making opportunities, things that maybe otherwise wouldn't even be an opportunity or an option. And after the donation opportunity takes place, we have an amazing aftercare program. And the idea of that is, again, there's no time frame for grief. So the bereavement process goes on, and sometimes it's harder days and months later than it is in the moment. So we're there to support our families for an extended period of time through the donation and through the consent of donation. You know, oftentimes if we receive a family who maybe initially is offered the option of donation and we get a very quick no, oftentimes it's about just giving a family time to understand death. Saying no to death is easiest, right? That's what we all want. We don't want to accept that our loved one is dying or has passed. So taking a family who is saying no to death and allowing us to help them understand, I think is first and foremost how we can provide comfort to the family in the time of need. And then moving from there, once they can accept death, into the options that they have, again, for a living legacy for their loved one.
That's really great. And you, again, going back to that first person authorization that you mentioned, if someone has said, yes, I'm a donor, but the family struggles with that, how do you handle that situation?
You know, again, I think it's really a family saying no to death. Our goal is not to traumatize anyone any further in this process by, you know, throwing up a wall and saying, you know, I'm sorry. What our job is to, again, alongside of an advance directive, let them know what their loved one's wishes were, and then facilitate the process from there.
Perfect. And we're almost out of time, but really quickly, can you just let us know if someone wants to become a donor, what do they do?
Quick 3 things you can do. You can, when you go to renew your driver's license at the DMV, make sure you check the box that says yes. You can go to our website, lcnw.org. You can sign up through us, as well as request a brochure through our 877 number. We'll be happy to send that to you and take care of it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nicole. And we just want to make sure that you at home understand that Life Center doesn't facilitate living donations, but live donations such as blood, bone marrow, kidney, or partial liver are also important to saving or improving lives. To find out more about that, you can go to UNOS or Donate Life websites. Thanks so much, Nicole. Next, we'll talk to a family whose loved one became a donor after death. Stay tuned.